Okay, Sheikh. So, a Muslim man sold all his properties, borrowing huge amounts of money from siblings, friends, and colleagues to invest in his business. But right then he passed away suddenly, leaving behind a wife and a 2 months old daughter who is now 7 years old. His debts still remain unpaid, and there's no way to recover his investment money. The man's younger brother married that widow to take care of the daughter, but they got divorced later on, causing huge chaos between his family and her family. Now the deceased wife and daughter are estranged from his entire family. She is staying with her daughter in another city and leading a miserable life. Initially, the siblings refused to send the deceased belongings like furniture to his daughter because they wanted her mother to pay the debts, although neither that wife nor the siblings can afford to pay the debts. However, somehow now the siblings have agreed to send those furniture, but they also said that they don't have time to send those. Either the wife has to come or she should send someone to take the furniture. But after all these family feuds, she is nowhere in a situation to visit them or send someone. So, Sheikh, I have got three quick questions. Am I allowed to ask three questions?
MashaAllah, you presented a terrible story, a very
Sheikh, so
complicated case. But Bismillah, let's see, what are your questions?
okay, Sheikh, first question is, since no one is capable of paying the debt, in this case, what to do?
Okay. Second question.
Okay, second question is, since the siblings agreed to send furniture, now is it obligatory for the siblings to carry those furniture to their niece? And if that wife marries another person and uses those furniture with her new husband, is there anything wrong? And my third question is, are the siblings still obligated to bear the monthly expenses of their niece even though she lives with her mother forever?
Barakallahu fikum. So first of all, if a person dies leaving behind a debt, then his debt is due on his aqila, on his family, to come up with the debt and to settle it in case that he doesn't have wealth. If he left behind any inheritance, we stated before, the Almighty Allah said in Surah An-Nisa, من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين. If you die leaving behind a wife and kids, so the wife will get so much, the kids will get so much, but none of that will be divided before two things have to be taken care of. Settling the debt, number one, and fulfilling the wasiyah if there is any wasiyah. So if the person who died owned anything, a vehicle, a house, or whatever, and he didn't leave any cash, should be sold in order to settle his debt. Obviously, it's kind of hard to imagine that he collected a lot of money to start a business, and now it's impossible to collect this money back from the business because he died. Any business has capital sum, whether they invested in goods, commodities, or buildings, or factories, or machines, all of that, if it is to be cashed, sold out, the cash will be sufficient, most probably, to settle the debt. If not, then his family is required to do so. What if they don't have even to cover their own expenses? Then لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. They are not blameworthy. As long as he doesn't have, his wife doesn't have, and his siblings and his parents don't have, his uncles don't have. Keep in mind, this is very rare to take place. Because if he, as you said, borrowed so much money to establish a business or to grow his business, this money should be somewhere invested in the business. Okay? But I would just assume what you said is the case, so the answer is what I said. If they don't have, then they are not blameworthy. As for the wife, if she lived in this house and the furniture were hers, it's belonging. It's her belonging. She can take it with her. She can, if she marries another person, obviously, the custody of the child goes to her mother. If she doesn't have mother, she goes to the mother of her husband, her mother-in-law, and so on. So basically, when a case that is so much complicated, because you said that one of his siblings married his widow, his brother's widow, in order to look after the child. Then they got divorced and she left to another town and so on. All parties have to be there in order to find out whether there is money somehow, somewhere, that the person who died have left in order to settle his debt, or to seek permission from the creditors and ask them to pardon this person since we cannot afford it, or to at least give them an allowance, give them a break, give them to make the payment on installment, to come to a deal so that the dead person will not be punished because of being in debt and not settling his debt before his death. Sometimes when a couple get married and the wife collects the dowry, jewelry, money, including the furniture, the appliances, so it's hers. If she travels, she takes them with her. And in this case, whether she is married to another person or not, it's her property. It's not for the siblings to argue that the furniture, we have a share in it. If that was stipulated in the marriage contract as part of the dowry, as in many cultures, the husband stipulates in the marriage contract that whatever furniture, it belongs to my wife. I give it to her as a part of the dowry. Then that is actually her possession, not a part of the inheritance.